All right. So 5:31, I'll call the meeting to order. So review and approve agenda. I just wanted to add one item, and that was to talk about the technology and meeting in person. I'd like to make some decisions tonight regarding that if we can. So.
And what about the, we're gonna approve the minutes, right? That's not in there from our last meeting.
We don't have to approve the minutes because it's not a regular meeting. I think the minutes are included because it has town manager search information.
Yeah, you do them during your regular meeting.
Yeah.
So move to approve the agenda as written with the addition of, Carrie, what was your addition?
In-person meeting.
In-person meetings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Oh, Lisa's waiting to get in.
She is?
That's what she says.
I don't see her on my screen.
Interesting.
No, she's not listed on my admit thing.
So we'll keep going and see if we can figure it out. Open public comment. I don't see any public here. You see her yet, Stan?
Is she still on the phone with you?
She just sent me a message. I said he doesn't see you on his screen.
I don't see her wanting to get in. So if you can go back to her.
Yeah, maybe she needs to log out and try again.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, yay. There she is.
Maybe you should get Bluetooth glasses too, Stan.
Wow. Okay, so next item is the traffic and parking ordinance.
Let's go back a minute so that Lisa can catch up with us. Meeting started at 5:31. Agenda was amended to add technology and in-person meetings.
Ben made the motion to approve and I seconded it.
Okay, so traffic and parking ordinance. So are there any more changes to this before we go forward with this ordinance?
The majority of the blue lines in there are technical corrections and changes and additions. The only thing that is really different, of course, is the parking section.
The planning commission did, at their last meeting last Thursday, updated the parking things, which I believe they were asked to do. And I don't know if they sent you a copy of the revised one yet, Stan? Did they send you an email, Stan, on that?
I didn't get anything on that.
Okay.
I talked with Dick Horner before your planning commission meeting, but I haven't talked with him since.
Okay. So whatever the board would like to do is fine.
So the only issue I've heard in that, and it's through, secondhand, is that there were folks that were concerned about no parking, meaning that there could be no deliveries on their street. And it's my understanding, I just want to make sure this is clear with everybody, is that if there's a delivery on the street, if UPS is pulling up, that's no standing.
Correct.
No parking is actually stopping for any period of time. But if UPS or FedEx or anybody else is pulling up, all they're doing is stopping for a short period of time, making a delivery, and that would be standing, which would not be prohibited. on most streets with this ordinance. I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that.
Yes.
So
That's my understanding too.
that was my understanding. I think the only other question was on Park Street.
By the school?
Yes.
I think that was changed, wasn't it?
I thought it was changed and taken out.
That
Okay.
you could
take it-
park there for events and stuff.
So I'm okay with taking that out if others are.
1E, is that correct?
Yes, under parking, section 1, letter E.
Carrie, what page is that on?
That's on page 5.
Thank you.
Coming in.
I don't see on here Kane Street, which should be no parking on the side of the road, either side.
I thought I saw that someplace, but
Yeah. Item B.
Item B?
Yeah, School
that's-
Street between the
no.
intersection of High Street and the intersection with North Street.
I'm talking about Kane Street.
Kane Street,
Kane. Kane Street should be no parking, both sides.
you took that one out
No,
on the list you gave me, so I dropped it. I can put it back in again very easily.
yes. That should be back in, because that's a problem with emergency vehicles.
And also, one of the versions had Center Street on it too.
What's everybody's feeling about Center Street?
I don't know. It was on, one of the old ones that I had showed Center Street on it. But you're just looking at adding Kane Street.
Right, and I'm asking what everybody thinks about Center Street.
Center Street should be fine.
yeah, Mark started Kane Street. Fire thought that too, I think. So let's put Kane Street back in, no parking. Do you hear me, Stan?
You said put Kane Street back in again.
Yeah.
How about East Street Hill? That has been signed, clearly signed for years, no parking. And I don't believe it's in the ordinance.
Then we totally should put it in the ordinance. What's everybody else think?
From what point on does that start, or
Well, it's the hill.
like where Kamutas used to be on up?
Well, it starts before that. It's for the trucks in the winter, I believe, is what it was put there for. So they don't have to stop for parked vehicles. Once they get on that hill.
Oh.
So from Chapel Street to the top of it to the Main Street.
No parking at all on either side?
No, I believe it's just the uphill side. The southbound, which is what the, vehicles are going to have trouble with in the winter.
Which street was that, Tom?
East Street.
East Street, oh.
Yeah, because
Well,
they
there's
can
no
park on
parking signs
the
there now.
north side, right?
No
Like from
parking.
the old store up, they could park on the north side.
The northbound side, yeah.
Oh,
Huh?
Are you talking about the northbound side or the north? I mean, there is no north side.
Well, the north side of this road is like all the way from the store up to where there's sidewalk.
That's where the signs are posted, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And
for
you're
the
right,
store
it's-
down, can't they park? I mean, people have always parked on that road during, like if there's a yard sale or something. Right?
I would like to see it go from Chapel Street to the top of the hill, but certainly open to compromise here. I don't believe the sheriff is gonna go around issuing tickets townwide yard sale day.
Or like holidays, you know, when family is visiting.
Well, in the winter, I have an issue with it. Yes, I travel that hill, so I have an issue with it. Yep, with cars parking on the hill. They're certainly welcome to park on William Street, Chapel Street, Patch Street to get off Route 3.
So Tom, should it be a winter parking prohibition?
Well, no, I think it should be year round. It's, the signs are posted. We'd have to pay for new signs. I don't think it's a state highway. It's the wrong place to park.
The thing too is when you start just kind of putting it at winter, no one pays attention. So then you're ticketing because they start parking there. Then all of a sudden winter, and they don't know when winter banning begins. And we run into that in the city. It's a huge problem. I'm fine with the signs being there.
That's right. The only reason I was checking is because from Chapel Street up, I could see maybe just during the winter. I totally get it from Kamuta's up, because then you're talking about an actual hill.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason I was checking on that.
I'm not sure if there are any signs below William Street. I don't know about that. No parking signs.
I don't think there are. That's why I was asking the question.
From William Street to the top of the hill, I can live with that.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about from William Street down towards Chapel.
Right, but he's saying, I think from William Street up, just have it, no parking. William Street down is okay.
Okay. No.
On the south side. Right?
On the uphill side, whatever side that is.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Let me redraft this with the additions we've got in here, send it around. And I think what you talked about before is once you have agreed on it by the board, is to hold a public meeting to discuss it. And the only question is, do we invite all the residents by individual letter, or do we just promote it with the website, the Facebook, and whatever other means we have to get it out?
I think that it should just be the usual way. I don't think we should be sending letters. That's a lot of letters to because you got to do Kane Street. Every place there's no parking, you're going to send a letter. That's a lot of letters. I think they can just do the way we post everything in the 3 public places and on social media. And on the town website. What does everybody else think?
Yeah. And once you adopt an ordinance, then it has to get put in the newspaper of record plus the other places as well. So before it goes into effect.
Well, is it fair to reach out to those who attended the first meeting because they were the ones who raised the concerns and kind of invite them back at least so they're aware of it? Or not?
I think that there's a problem with that in that people from Kane Street, are we going to reach out to every single person on Kane Street?
No.
I think we just make it public, put it in the 3 places, post it on social media, and call it good. It's in the select board minutes. It's been talked about. I mean, it's going to come up in another meeting, so because we can't settle anything tonight, we have to have a copy. So then there's a choice of talking about it next Monday or the Monday after. And remember, I'm not at the meeting next Monday, which I don't have a problem with if you guys want to decide Monday. What does everybody think?
I'm fine with that.
Get it done.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, so Stan, if you can have the corrections done and you can put it on the agenda for next Monday, that would be great. Awesome.
And then you would go to the official action for the public meeting after that.
Correct.
Yes.
So that
And
would be the
okay.
first meeting in July.
Yeah, I'm okay with whatever the board decides next week for when the meeting will be set.
Okay.
I don't have, I'm fine with it.
There are other changes in this ordinance. Stan was nice enough to put them in blue. I don't have an issue with the other changes.
Mm-mm. I don't have any other issues with it either. Anybody else?
No.
The big thing was the sheriff's department wanted all the streets and by town highway listed so that they would have them. And the other was the distances to stop signs from intersections. So that they know exactly where, I mean, nobody knows, well, a lot of people know where the village limit on West Street is, but, and the sign is there, but they wanted a number saying so many feet south of Columbia Avenue. So that's what some of the other changes are.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Has everybody got their ARPA list ready?
What is ARPA?
ARPA is the money, the 160,000 that is available to us due to COVID. And we were going to come up, we have to include the public, so we were each going to come up with like a list, and then we were going to present the public with the top 5 of that list.
I think I said this last meeting. I think to me, the big one is our sewer plant.
I agree.
I think lagoons is a good one. I think sidewalk improvements is a good one. I think additional bandwidth, because Consolidated is going to do some, but there will still be parts of town that won't have the bandwidth available. And I thought maybe some talk about the Marble Museum. And is there anything we can do to help keep the museum in town? Whether it's in that building or not in that building. Those are my 4.
I'm not sure about the museum qualifying for that.
I talked to Ed and it would qualify for one pool.
Okay.
But that just be kind of an economic development plan to update what we've got now to show what's happening.
Well, the lagoons and the sewage and stuff, that's pretty pricey, right? I mean, that was kind of.
That was on my agenda to get an estimate as to what it would cost to line the lagoons.
Right. I think that's something we definitely need, because it's just, if it fails down the road, it's going to cost us a lot, and we won't have it in the budget.
And it's, you know, it's disposing of all this, removing all the sludges in it and then changing the liner.
Yeah.
There is money in the sewer fund, about 150,000 that has been kind of earmarked for that. But what the total cost is going to be, I'm not sure.
And let's be honest, it's going to fail. This isn't if it fails. It's going to fail.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can have that as our number 1, but I think we need more than one, because it has to be, we have to get public opinion. So we can't just present them one idea. We have to present more than one idea. And then have a conversation, kind of like when town planning happened and there was input from the town. It's the same kind of thing. We need town input according to the guidelines of ARPA.
Yeah. Now, the question on sidewalks is, I've heard that transportation projects are not included. And I don't know whether sidewalk is a transportation improvement or whether, you know, repaving is definitely not eligible.
Correct.
And rebuilding roads or building roads or bridges is not eligible. Whether sidewalks is, that's a question somebody needs to get a response, and maybe Ed is the one who can say yes or no on that.
So it's Eric Hall, after my conversation with Ed, and I told him about like the 3 projects, and he also suggested that we talk about bandwidth. And doing that at this time, because that's a separate pool of money, apparently, because the way I understood it and the way it's coming forward is a little bit different. There's different pools of money, and you can qualify for more than one pool of money, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you have, Judy? Have you learned anything else about ARPA since the ARPA seminar?
Well, basically they've set a bunch of guidelines, and it's, as usual, not very clear and concise. So it's kind of very broad, but it's almost like it was almost like explaining that it's broad, but there's ways around it. If you have a project, there's ways around it to get the money to cover it. They did stress water sewer as one of the primary areas that it would cover. Infrastructure, any kind of infrastructure. Housing was another huge one that they would support. So I think it's anything that's going to help the municipality expand and grow instead of being, hurt by COVID and things that they could no longer do. So,
Yeah.
And what I got from Ed was come up with the 5 projects, call them, and then they'll help us navigate how we could go about it, and then we'd be better able to pick a good one. So we definitely all agree on the sewage liner, lagoon liner.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anything, I feel like in the last 2 years, our biggest costs have become sewer problems. Whether it's at the sewage plant or at houses, it's cost us a lot of money from claims being filed, from sewage damage and stuff. I'd like to see as much money as possible allocated to that, where, that could be something that's like a safety net for us down the road that we don't have to worry about.
Right. Okay. So what's another? We need to have more than one idea when we present to the public.
Well, did you want the technology piece? If that's,
We could do the technology, which the office technology would qualify, and the bandwidth would qualify. Okay. What else?
You doing the floors in the office? Would that,
It's possible, because we would need to do some things to be able to have the technology,
no.
because we're going to have some soundproofing and things of that nature.
Well, I was thinking about the entry area with the tile, which is going to cost us more than just tearing it up.
That would be something like, once we have the 5 ideas before we go to the public, we would call Eric, call at our RPC, and give him, here are our ideas, and he would be able to tell us how we could be funded for it or how it's not eligible. So what else does everybody have?
Lisa has her hand up.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Are you eligible to use it for upgrades in the park, i.e. the gazebo or the planting of trees in the park where we've cut trees down? Does that fall under recreation or facility improvements or
Not sure.
something like that?
I
mean,
think
the park is a big piece of the town and is
Mhm.
used for a lot of activities, and the gazebo's been there for a while and it definitely needs some help.
I mean, I'm okay with that one. I agree. We really do need to put the trees back. So I can, I mean, we can, as a town, put that on there and ask for that. The Marble Museum is, it's kind of spot for all of us because I would hate to see our town also lose that. I don't know what that means as far as what we could help them with or how far we want to go to help them. But that's a big part of our history and our culture. And speaking with, I'm trying to think of his name. It's gone. I mean, they're looking to try to keep it in town, if not in town, in the state of Vermont. But it is our experience that that doesn't always work out. And we have parts of our history and culture in Pennsylvania that no one has access to. So there's that, or maybe helping them to do something about the building that could turn it into like a marketplace or a maker space. So there's those ideas too. It is in the center of town. That's a big thing to lose, in my opinion. But I don't know what everybody else feels about it. I'm pretty open to any way we want to go forward and bring this to the voters.
My thought is, first of all, $160,000 isn't a lot of money.
No.
Not going to cover much of anything. And I would be all for saving that museum if that's all that was standing there. If it was just the Marble Museum building, standalone, and we could salvage it and save it, great. But it's surrounded by another property owner who has done nothing at all to improve or enhance that building for years. And I don't see him or them ever doing that. And why it's hard for anybody to come and invest money to make that a better place when you know everything surrounding it is falling down. That's what's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It is heartbreaking. And I don't know anywhere in town that it could be moved either.
And I would agree with Judy on top of the fact that this is not a huge sum of money. If we can put this money into infrastructure, I think that that's where it's got to go. I mean, we're looking at between things like the sewage treatment and the other things that we just have to do as a town in order to provide the services that we need to provide. As much as I would love to use this money to provide stimulus for either a makerspace or something like that, I just don't know that that's what we're capable of, to be, for lack of a better term.
So what about, here's my other question. Is there a piece of highway equipment that we need that we do not have?
Well, the only thing that has come up in my tenure is a over the rail mowing machine, as opposed to the one we've got now, which they have to do the trimming behind the guardrails by hand. We talked about this a few years ago, and the price was a pretty pricey type program. So, but there's always need for equipment.
So
Yeah, we could always use an excavator. Our backhoe is limited if we've got to get into some spots, and it only goes down so far. We've talked about track vehicle.
what is everybody's opinion on highway equipment? Because that's a pretty pricey item too.
I think the sewer plant, that's up in the $200,000-300,000 project. When you do 2 lagoons and get rid of the sludge in the bottom.
Well, I think what Carrie's saying is we have to offer at least a couple of options.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, to be honest with you, I think that's, if we're going to be fiscally responsible, I think the sewage treatment plant and putting whatever money we can into a reserve fund for that makes the most sense. If we need to add something else, Carrie, I agree with you that it should be something like something that the highway department needs. Again, as much as I would love to add something downtown, I don't think with the opportunity that we've been given with this kind of money, which is not a lot of money, and the reasons behind it, that we should go past what our basic needs are as a town.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure that we can take money and put it in reserve and wait until we have the money.
You can't. No, you can't.
Right. You have to do the project. So we have to consider that too. Do we have that? And that would mean bonding again. So, because no matter what, whether we get the money or not, we're going to have to bond because it's that big of a project. So that's the importance of also having other options, because maybe voters don't want to bond again.
But if we have 150,000 in reserve, right, Stan, that you said for the water sewer, and we get 160, then that should cover the lagoons and the sewage plant.
Yes.
Is that one or both lagoons?
Let me get the numbers.
I think we got to do both.
Right, but if it's 230,000 for one lagoon or 230,000 each lagoon.
I thought it was for the total project.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's what we need to know.
Let me correct what I said. The reserve fund was to take out the sludge. It did not include replacing the liner. It was just the sludge removal.
Okay.
So yes, there would be considerably more to go in and line it. But let me get numbers on those, because there's no question that's a need that will qualify. But you come up with 5 projects with numbers after each one, it's going to add up to more than 160,000. Then you're going to make your choices as what you want.
So here's what I think. Maybe let's see what the numbers are for the sewage, so that we have something to call and talk to our RPC about. And then let's see what the equipment wish list is and what those numbers are. And let's start with those 2 things first.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest you buy the old mill building and tear it down.
Oh,
It may cost more than 860,000, but that would be an improvement to the overall town to have that thing disappear.
That's true.
yeah.
I doubt he'd sell it for 160,000.
Well, I think he'll sell it for the 10,000 that he said it was worth. So, but
I'll
then
buy
it costs 160,000 to clean it up, or more.
Yes.
So
All
if
right.
we have a couple items that we decide on, once we get costs, then we bring those to the public, then we can just say, we got to really stress, we want to do the lagoons and the sewage. I mean, that's a priority for the town overall.
First,
Definitely.
before we bring it to the public, we need to go back to our RPC with, here are some ideas to see if they would work. And because we don't want to include the public and then we find out it's something that won't work.
Right. I'm sure the lagoons will, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's see the prices on those 2 things. Let's get a wish list and some prices. Let's get the sewer liner. Let's get those prices, and then call Eric at our RPC and then update the board on that before we decide to do a public meeting regarding that. What do you think?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, could he come to one of our meetings and so we could hear his?
I can ask him that. I can ask him how he thinks we should proceed. I can ask him all of that. I just need to know. Well, first I need to know costs, and then actually, if Stan wants to do costs, and then reach out to Eric and say, hey, here are the 2 major ideas. Can you come to a board meeting? Because he can Zoom, right? And then we can at least have his input then. What do you think?
That would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I think that's what we'll do. All right. Anything else on the ARPA? Okay. So the next item is town manager search. So Stan, where do we stand with advertising? We've done Reddick.
7 days. They gave me a quote of $280 to run the ad in there, plus it will be on their site. Indeed, ideal.com
Indeed.
was $33 a day. We tell them how long we want to run it. So if you're going to run it for 30 days, it would be $990.
I think they also have a free part too.
Well, I didn't find the free part. I found the charge part.
Stan, I got an email today. I went back in my emails today with my correspondence with Teresa, and I have a thing on Indeed that has a just some guidelines. So I'm going to shoot you that to you.
Okay.
All right.
It
I actually
may
meant
get
to do
me into
it
an
earlier.
existing account then.
Huh?
It may get me into an existing account that we get a better price on.
Right. And it was actually for signing up for free, I think.
Was it for free? Okay.
Yeah. So, but I definitely wouldn't run it for 30 days either.
Well, you know, if you're doing it in 7 days, then it would be, you know, $33 a day.
Well, let's see if
No,
we
ideal
can.
was, you know, 7 days with $280 for one shot.
I'm not impressed with 7 days as a paper.
They have a huge following though. They have a
Is it
lot
the
of
type-
readers.
Yeah, but is it the type that's going to be looking for a job? I think they're,
It probably has more, Bruce, more job ads in it than any other publication in the state of Vermont. I mean, it does. It has a lot of job ads. You know, everything from, you know, directors to teachers to doctors to everything. It just does. I don't know why.
Anybody else have input on running an ad in the 7 days?
You want to go with 7 days for 14 days?
I'm trying to see if anybody else has any other input on running it in there.
What do you want to
Honestly, I
check?
think at this point we have to run something so that we can start getting an idea of what the applicant pool is going to be.
Stan, do you want to check into Indeed tomorrow? And then if we can do that, would
Yeah.
everybody rather do that than 7 days?
What do you got, Lisa?
If it's a free
Isn't
one.
7 days
the other one
online
is,
and print, so you're getting both?
$33 a day.
Yep. You said 7 days was $33 a day, so that,
No, 7 days is $280 for each printing per week.
for a week
And that
and
includes,
online.
that includes their website for a week too?
Their online edition.
Yes.
We are on the Chamber Economic Development positions, openings as of today. So there may be somebody who sees it there. And we're on the league's site.
So it's only advertised in 2 places right now.
Yeah.
Well, as of today, 2 places. We've only received 2 applicants, or 2 resumes. So I would really like the board to make a decision on where else to put this either 7 days or Indeed, because we need to get going. We're already in June, and according to our timeline, we wanted the deadline for applications to be June 30th.
So if we can get Indeed for free, can't we spend $290 on 7 days?
That's what I'm thinking. If we get Indeed for free, then I think we should do Indeed 7 days. It's already on the chamber and it's on the league.
I'm okay with that.
At this point, yes.
All right. Do you want to have a vote on that? All I need is like a motion. Let's have a vote.
I'll second it.
Did anybody make the motion?
I'll move it. It wasn't moved.
Okay. All right. So all in favor of doing Indeed if it's free and the 7 days, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Yes, I'm opposed.
Okay. So motion carries. It's a 3-1. All right. Anything else on the town manager search?
The only thing I did was on the job description I put in and all of the duties as assigned.
Yes.
That you talked about at the last meeting, other than that. And what I would do is put it together without the signatures and the date. That's something you do when you have an applicant. But if someone is looking for the job description, I would make it a generic description and have it available for anybody that asks for it.
Is everybody okay with the job description?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Anything else on the town manager search? Okay. So the league risk management, I called the league as asked about the ice fishing derby possibility and the fishing derby, and about having skateboarding and roller skating at the rink. Because COVID is over, he decided that he was going to make a little trip to town, so he did. And I've included the findings, which I think are fair. Some of the things have, like the beaver pond, as long as it was a family fishing event, it didn't need a waiver. But if we do a derby, he said that that would be appropriate. And there was this, I don't know, some kind of marker in the pond, but Tim and I went up and removed it. I don't know who put it there. Tim and I went up and removed it already, so that's already complete.
So it's gone then.
Yes, it's gone. Tim's like, that was not there. It was at the end of the dock in the water sticking up. And he said it was not, nobody from the pond and had no idea. So we just removed it. So the rec is going to talk about the rest of these findings at their meeting. And I would suspect that we'd hear from the rec after that.
We meet Wednesday.
So does anybody have any discussion on this, or do you want to just wait and see what the rec recommends?
I did reach out to the city about, because they have a skateboard park, and then they have a pool, which is different guidelines than ours, just because ours is kind of
Ours is natural.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but they use a waiver because they have kids registering for like classes. So when they register, they do a waiver with the registration form. But if you do a waiver, it's like if they say they came to the pool one day and signed a waiver and they came back again, they wouldn't have to sign a waiver again.
Right.
It lasts the whole lifetime. But we don't have any lessons or registration, so that would be something that we can talk about on Wednesday as well.
Correct. I mean, I see the point of having a waiver for skating and for the pool. I get it. But I'm pretty okay with letting it come in front of the board. I think it's another way to protect the town. And that's my only thoughts of it.
So if we discuss these, I can bring that to the board our discussion on the 14th, if that's good with everybody.
Right. And there's nothing here either that if we don't do these things that we can't have these events. This is just a risk management piece of paper that, hey, here are some risks. Here's how you can deal with the risk. That's all it is. Recommendation.
Well,
Anything
Judy,
else?
I'd certainly like to hear input from the rec committee. So.
You certainly would like to what?
Hear input from the rec committee.
Oh, definitely. I think they should. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to I'll have this Wednesday with me too, and I'm sure they all will. So we'll just go over it.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. So the last item would be the addition of the technology, and so whether we're going to redo the floors or if we're just going to get an area rug and get back in there and just get the technology.
The technology is on order. And as soon as it comes in, they would be ready to put it in.
Okay.
Floors, I have one quote who took off $1,500 if we don't do the outside portion, the assessor's portion, just do the rest of it. And that may, and I've been waiting for the second one to give me the same information and haven't received that one yet. But I would say, you know, this is done, Ted, who gave us the decent quote, and maybe just go ahead and do it for the meeting room, the entryway, and the office, and forget about the front area for now.
How soon could they do it, Stan?
He had a number of jobs, but he thought he could fit it in, you know, within the next couple of weeks. Where one of the ones I talked to today said September. His crews are too busy to do anything else. And the third guy I haven't heard from.
My feeling is we just go ahead and do the floors and then get the technology put in, and then we're done with it.
Yeah.
I agree.
And,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
the recommendation for them was from Jim Moore, who said they're the best. So I would appreciate it.
$1,500 isn't a bad price at all for that size area, I don't think.
No, it was $1,500 off at their price, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Stan, did you say it was Treadon that came over the bid?
Didn't hear you, Ben.
Did you say it was Treadon that came over the bid?
No.
Who gave the bid?
Who did them?
Who did the bid for you? Who gave you the bid for the carpet?
Treadland. He had the best price.
Okay. Don Trudon?
So Treadon,
But he said he wouldn't do the front portion.
Right.
Back to Boyle asking about what he would take off if we didn't do the front portion. I haven't heard back from him.
Oh, okay.
I know Trudon, he does amazing work.
yes, he does.
I think we should go ahead and get the floors done, get the rug, get the curtains for the soundproofing that we need, and let's get this going so we can meet in person, and we can also have the Zoom option for people to Zoom in, because we cannot have 20 people come to our meeting. That's not possible right now, unless state of emergency is lifted. What do you think?
I agree.
Let's go.
I
Let's
make
do
a
it.
motion to go ahead.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
Anyone opposed? All right, great. That means that we'll be back hopefully within a month.
First meeting
Anything-
in July, right?
Yep.
Hopefully. Hopefully. All right. Anything else for the board today?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I was just going to say, as a matter of information, I did send out the pedigree on the purchaser of the Marble Building.
Yes.
And I also sent him a notice that he was in violation of our grounds maintenance ordinance.
Yes. It's like waist high now.
Yeah.
And I got the return receipt today in the mail, so he got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Better watch your back, Stan.
Yeah.
I didn't sign it.
No, I
I'm
signed
gonna
it.
second Judy's motion.
Enforcement officer.
There you go.
All right. All in favor of
Aye.
adjourning?
All right.
Have a good
Anyone
night.
opposed? Nobody opposed? All right. Everybody take care. Thanks, Charlotte.